What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Strange Tale wave featuring the Build-A-Figure of Blackheart. And we have a lot of figures to go over in this wave. So first off, we have Moon Knight, which looks cool, Bloodstorm, so a vampire version of Storm, and Lilith, which is a new character to the collection. And of course with this, like I said, the Build-A-Figure Blackheart there, we get like his head there, so he looks pretty cool as well. So we have those three, and then behind that we've got Dracula, so awesome, we get Dracula, Daimon, Hellstrom, Brother Voodoo, and Weapon of Vengeance or Helverine. So those all look pretty cool as well. Of course, getting Daimon Hellstrom, like that's supposed to be in that Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider HasLab they did a while ago. Helverine is cool. Wolverine with the fire head just all looks cool. Dracula is awesome as well. And then these other figures, and of course that Build-A-Figure of Blackheart that you can see on the back there, what he's going to look like. So just pretty cool overall for this wave. So a bunch of weird characters, dark characters, but very cool wave overall that I'm excited about. So let me get these figures open and out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Moon Knight, who is Mark Spector. Now at a young age, he had a traumatic event that caused him to develop dissociative identity disorder, leading to his altered identities of Stephen Grant and Jake Lockley. But he would become a Marine and serve for many years, but was discharged because of his bizarre behavior. He would then join a Soldiers for Hire group and work many assignments in Africa and South America. And while on an archaeological mission in Egypt, he was mortally wounded and placed beneath the idol of Khonshu, where Mark's spear encountered Khonshu, who promised to save his life in exchange for his service. So Mark became Moon Knight, a costume crime fighter, with his alters of Stephen Grant as a millionaire financier and Jake Lockley as a cab driver to get information from the streets. Now as Moon Knight, he has the power of Khonshu, which gives him increased strength at night, especially from the moon, as well as immortality. And then he wears his Moon Knight suit that has Kevlar armor and a glider cloak. Now he looks pretty cool here. This is a different design from what I've normally seen. Still really like the design. Of course, a lot of white going on here, which looks really nice. Lovely, like the hood, the body outfit, you know, spandex outfit with the little moon on his chest, and the cape, especially an all white cape on the outside, black on the inside, which looks cool, as well as his face being all blacked out, but you can see the white eyes. But then he has this gold on it, which has a lot of like scarabs and stuff, so you know, like the Egyptian logoing stuff, which I couldn't really find out exactly what this was from, but I think it looks cool. I like the addition of the gold onto the white. It looks cool. So like I said, he's got the little like gauntlets there with the scarabs, as well as like the championship belt looking design with the scarab, and then some gold bands around his feet as well, or ankles, whatever. So looks pretty cool overall. Just a really nice design for Moon Knight, different from what we've normally seen. Now movement wise, we can do the head that'll twist around, so it may be hard. It's hard to tell what's going on. Let's see. I can't get it to twist all the way around, doesn't seem like, unless I'm got to stretch it more, but I can only go side to side there, and then it can look down that far and then up just about that far. So not a whole lot of range, probably, especially with this piece around his neck for the cape and then his hood design, all that. Probably not getting a lot of great movements in there. But then we get his shoulders that come up to 90 with that butterfly joint back and forth and rotate all the way around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that'll bend up that far, which isn't bad. Get the wrist that'll twist all the way around and has the hinge up and down for this hand. Then we can go to the ab crunch and see the ab crunch cut out in there, so crunch back and forth, so pretty good crunching that way. And then it'll twist all the way around at the waist as well, so just under the belt. Then we'll get the hips that come up to 90 and out to the side, can go that far. We had a thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that'll bend up, a little bit stuck there, but it'll bend up that far to the back. And we get a shin twist at the top of the gold there, so it'll twist all the way around. And then the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So decent movements, and nice to have this new upgraded body. So all pinless body, has the butterfly joints and all that, so it works out pretty decently. But then we get some accessories with him. So first we get some additional hands. So we get some hands here in fist form. So he has like open hands already. So we get fist form hands, which also have little holes into it for his other accessory of his moon rings, or crescent darts as they're called. But we get the little crescent moon little blades there, and we can take and stick these into the holes so he can have 3 on his hand. So not easy to get in at all, but you can put the crescent darts in his hands like that, so they become almost like claws, so you can do the 3 there. But like I said, very hard to get in, like you barely touch them and they fall out, so not a good function for that. But he does come with those, as well as a larger one. So this one is a nice big one, which, like if you saw the Moon Knight show, he pulls them off his chest, so like they're kind of in there, the little moon, and he pulls them off his chest and uses them. So it'd be cool if it was like that size to fit along with it, but obviously with things like this, we could just put it into his hand. So you can just put it in his hand like that, or kind of put it more like he's throwing it like a batarang or something, but we just get those crescent darts. He also comes with a staff, which we've gotten with Moon Knights before. So just this nice staff here, we can just put this into his hand. So as this he can use. So there I got the staff up in his hand. But something new he comes with is he also comes with an Ankh, which is a weapon he's used in the comics and everything. So that's pretty cool. We get the Ankh, of course, a logo, part of the Egyptian culture. So pretty cool. He has that as well. And we can put this into his hand. So there he's got that weapon as well. So that's cool. We get a new weapon with him. And I like how it's gold, so it stands out against all the white and everything. So that looks pretty cool. And of course, we've had Moon Knights before. So here's like a classic one where he's just pretty much all in white. And then a more modern design where he's got the black more incorporated in it as well. So we get those two additional Moon Knights. So now we have 3 different versions of Moon Knight in the collection. And I really like this one. Like I said, the gold just kind of stands out. I like the black as well, like especially on the face and the cape. Just helps define the body and make it stand out a bit more, but very cool looking figure overall for this version of Moon Knight. And then we've got Bloodstorm, who is Aurora Monroe, but from Earth 1298, which is an alternate universe version of Storm that was introduced in the Mutant X comics, which is a branch off from the original Storm from the Uncanny X-Men number 159, where she was bit by Dracula to become one of his brides, but she was able to break his control and defeat him, where in this reality she remains as a vampire and uses Forge and Kitty Pryde to sustain herself, but also keeps them alive. Now, of course, as Bloodstorm, she has all the same powers of Storm, as well as vampirism, which gives her superhuman strength and speed, as well as near invulnerability, the command of creatures, and the ability to transform into a bat. So pretty cool for this. So this looks more like the Punk Storm we've gotten more recently, and especially more modern design, where she has like the mohawk, but then the long hair in the back, which is pretty nice. So like the mullet design with the short on top, longer in the back, and just looks good overall for like that punk look of Storm. But obviously she is a vampire, so we get her face all vampirized or whatever. So she has the fangs in there in her mouth, the all red eyes, and the crazy around like darkness around her eyes there, which looks cool. Then she's got nice big gold earrings, kind of like Storm usually does, but nice hoops there for it. Then she has the leather jacket on, which looks pretty cool. Nice leather jacket design there in black with like a brawl design, but it's almost has like that corset design, kind of like she wears. We'll see with that other figure. Then she has some dark pants. It's hard to, I think they're blue. It looks like the pants are a dark blue as well as her brawl design, and they're probably like a leather pants or just dark jeans, whatever there. But nice belt around the waist with the X-Men logo on it, since she was a part of the X-Men. And then she's got some black boots there, black leather boots there on her feet with a nice high heel on them, and just overall looks pretty cool for the design. So it's just taking that Punk Storm we've already had and making her a vampire. So for movements, we have the head that can twist around. Of course, her hair is probably going to get in the way, but it's kind of soft there, so it gets out of the way. And then she can look down that far and up that far. So really nice, especially with that hinge joint. Love having hinge joints in the heads. We get the shoulders up to 90, actually over 90 there, and can rotate all the way around. We get a single elbow joint that bends there to about to 90 and has a rotation in it. And then we get the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. And I love the nice claw hands there, especially for being a vampire. Then we get an ab crunch under her chest, so crunch back and forth and twist all the way around. And then we also get a twist at the waist, so nice double twist in there for her. Then we get the hips that come up that far, not all the way up to 90, just a little bit under, but close out to the side that far. Thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint a little bit stuck there, but can bend up that far at least, so not bad at all. And then we go down to the foot, that'll rock back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty decent movements, not the best. She only has, like the single elbow and stuff like that. So not the best range ever, but not bad at all for what she's got. But accessory wise, she does come with an additional head. So more of a calm down version. Love how her mohawk's more just slicked back there. So not all spiked up. And you can still see some of her fangs in her mouth, which is kind of fun. And her red eyes and all that. So just a more relaxed version. But I kind of like this one where she's more, showing off that she's a vampire. And then we also get the hands showing off her powers, usually that she uses as Storm for like controlling the weather and all that. So we get those hands as well, but we can also just have her in vampire form, like ready to attack with those claws. So she looks cool there. And of course, we've had the Storm, like I said, the more like Punk Storm. So here is that figure as well to compare there. Like I said, keeps a lot of similarities between the two, just obviously not the exact same. So we have the vampire version and normal version of Storm there. So really cool to get Bloodstorm added to the collection. Not a necessary figure, just a vampire version of Storm, but she is from the comics and everything, and it looks pretty cool here. So I'm glad that we did get her. And then we have Lilith, the goddess of the underworld and mother of demons. Now, her origins have been lost in time, but she was around at the dawn of humanity as a member of the heavenly host, and she sided with her husband Samael, who also became Satan, during the rebellion against heaven, and when they failed, they were cast to hell. She eventually became the lover of Adam, of the famed Adam and Eve, and had many children with him, but the angels killed them all. So she vowed to have as many children as possible to one day rule the world and raised an army of her demon offspring. But in modern times, she faces off against Doctor Strange and his allies known as the Midnight Suns that prevent her spawn from taking over Earth. Now, her powers over the years have varied depending on her status, such as an angel, a demon, or a goddess, but she has superhuman strength and durability, as well as energy projection, force fields, teleportation, spawn creation, as well as summoning and empowerment of them. So overall, she looks pretty cool and decent here. Nice unique design for her. Looks pretty good overall. Like I said, a lot of uniqueness to her. She's got this all white body. I assume it's all white. It's her actual body, but nice pale skin there. Love the design around her eyes. So she's got like the nice like wing designs around her eyes. So she does her makeup a lot. Has these little green earrings, nice lipstick, again, this purplish color. And then these two horns that come up with her head. I believe that's a part of her actual head. And then it goes to what I would believe hair, but it's kind of see-through here and it looks kind of all weird, like holy and stuff, like the damaged material. But I assume that's supposed to be her hair there with the see-through black color. It looks decent, whatever it is. It's just, kind of weird with the design of the way it comes up there. And then we get her body design, or outfit, I should say. So she does have almost like this swimsuit design with this darker purple. So it's from her crotch all the way up to her arms and down the arms. So she has the white gloves. And then she has all this fish netting everywhere else. So up on her chest here, connecting to her neck. A little bit on the arms as well there in the purple. And up on her upper thighs until it goes to the silver for her boots there that come all the way up to her thighs there. So again, looks pretty nice. And then she has this cape hanging off the back in green. So just has this little cape piece sort of from the center of the back there hanging down off of it. So looks pretty decent overall. Nice colorful with the purple and green, stands out against the white and black. Just a really unique design for her. But moon-wise, we do get that'll twist around. Of course, with the hair, it's going to be hard, but it can twist all the way around. And then she can look down that far and then up probably not too far because of her hair design. So she can look up at least that far into the back before we start messing with the hair. So not the best moons because of that hair, but also not bad. Then we get the shoulders that do come up. Of course, trying to get around back here. Getting up to 90 and rotate all the way around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow. Of course, that pinless design is a little stiff, but it can bend all the way up on itself there. So really nice. Get the wrist that'll twist all the way around and flex back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch just under her chest, so she'll crunch back and forth and twist around just a little, not all the way. Then we go down to the hips up to 90 and out to the side, thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that again with pinless is pretty stiff but can bend up that far to the back at least, and then down to the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So not bad for moons. Like I said, just those pinless joints are stiff, which is kind of a common thing with them, but once you get them loosened up, they aren't bad at all and gives you nice range, especially like those elbows, how it can bend all the way up on itself and everything. So still works out really nice. And unfortunately, the only accessories we get with her are the magic hands, which I will go and give to her just for her powers. So there I try to go more of a look of her summoning her children. So looks pretty decent overall of her. Not the best design, like especially with the weirdness of the hair and all that. And I do have some issues getting her to stand just in general. I don't know what's going on with her feet and all that. But overall, a nice, unique looking figure, that's for sure. But also not a super popular character, so it doesn't really fill in too many spaces or anything. But it's just a good character to add to the collection. And next up, we have Dracula, also known as Vlad Dracula, who was born and raised in 1400s Transylvania, and by the time he turned 18, he came to power following his father's death until he was defeated by a Turkish warlord 10 years later, until he was healed by a Romani lady named Lyanda, which was a vampire, so she vampirized Dracula. So coming to terms with his new powers, he took back his kingdom and became the ruler of the vampires, and over the years, he gathered a network of minions, servants, and brides that would assist him in fights and resurrect him if he's ever killed. Now for powers, he has superhuman strength, speed, durability, and reflexes, as well as immortality, regeneration, mind control, magic, necromancy, blood manipulation, and can transform in an animal form. So overall looks pretty cool with this form. So this is more like armored up, ready for war Dracula, especially with the all red design. And I'm pretty sure over the years in the Marvel comics, he switched design, looking more like the classic like Universal Monsters form of Dracula to this form here, where he's got more of the red armor, which looks pretty cool. So nice design overall for this. Like, I think it looks really cool and badass. I just feel the face could be overall a little bit better, like especially with the way the eyes are designed. So he's got white pupils, and that's, you know, supposed to be the design, but with the way it looks, like the black that's all around his eyes everywhere else looks like they're his pupils. So it looks like both of his eyes are looking inward, like he's cross-eyed, and just with his mouth like that, he just looks super goofy. So I wish they would have executed the eyes a little bit more, because just from this it looks like he's cross-eyed and all weird, especially with his mouth open. But aside from that, it's not too bad. So he's got his mouth open, showing off his fangs. He's got these big earrings, which I don't like as much either. So these nice big gold earrings, but I love how he's got the pointy ears like vampires, and then his white hair all back into a ponytail design. Of course, his all white pale skin as well. Then we get his armor, so we get the nice red segmented armor that goes down his chest. It kind of goes away here in the midsection. He has more of like a spandex body design with the black in the center and red down the sides, but still has nice little cutout designs. But he's got some red gauntlets on his hands, nice all and spiky there with claws on him, and then some armor down on his legs going to his feet as well, with spikes all over him in the red segmented armor. Then he's got some bagginess in the black design around his arms there, so the up arms, then the clasps around his neck, so the clasp and chain to hold his cape on. So he's got the black cape, which again, this is all nice tattered and torn there, showing off that he's been through it over the years. So pretty nice design overall. Like I said, just those eyes look way too weird. I wish they were designed differently. But we can do his movements, so his head will twist around. Of course, his hair here kind of gets out of the way. You can twist it around or do whatever you want there. So his head will twist around, and he can look down that far and up that far. So unfortunately, he doesn't have a hinge. It's just on like a dumbbell joint in there, so you only get so much range. Of course, with his hair like that, you could have like he's hanging upside down like that. That'd be kind of cool. Nice to do that with his hair. Then we go to his shoulders, which of course with this cape is going to be in the way and hard to really do, but we can get his shoulders up to 90 still. And then if we get it back, can rotate around within there. We get a bicep twist and the single elbow joint that bends that far, so it looks like about just a tiny bit over 90, so pretty decent range there. And then right where it connects there, it does twist, so his lower arm does twist around as well. Then we get the wrist that'll twist around, and this has the hinge up and down hand. Then we go to his ab crunch, which is kind of hidden under the segmentations here, but it does have right under this section, so a little bit of crunching back and forth. Not much at all. Of course, it feels kind of stiff, so you can get it worked back and forth a little bit there, and we'll twist all the way around. Then we can go down to the hips. That'll come up to 90 and out to the side. Ooh, looks like he can actually do the split, so pretty good for that. You get the thigh twist all the way around, and the double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back. Ooh, kicking himself in the butt as well, so pretty good range overall for this. And then we go down to the foot that can rock back and forth and twist side to side. And of course, he does also have this weird ankle design, so the whole ankle will twist around there as well. So pretty good range of movements overall for this figure. The only thing is that single elbow joint, but that's just because of the bagginess of the arms and stuff, you know, part of the design. But everything else about him, really good range. But for accessories, we do get an additional head. So we get this head, which again still has some weirdness with the eyes. I feel especially the right side over here, the eye looks much better. Doesn't look like, you know, his eyes looking in, but the left side still has, you know, the darkness towards the inside, so it looks like he's a little cross-eyed still. But let's put this head on. So overall, not surprising, that head does look a lot better. Like I said, it still has a little bit of weirdness on the left side here, but the right looks really good. And just overall, that head design, I just like the other one more just because, you know, showing off his vampire fangs and everything. But I still think that's a really good head to use for Dracula, so I'll probably just leave that on. For hands, we do get a set of fist hands here to go along with his grip hands, which we can switch that out if we want. But I'll definitely leave the grip hand because he also comes with this sword that looks really cool. This nice sword design. Love the serrations here in the center. Kind of more of a see-through sort of gray material, but overall looks really nice and cool, so we can put this into his grip hand. So there's Dracula with his sword, and I think that looks really cool. Of course, in this form, it reminds me more of like a character from a fantasy video game. Like I want to say like Final Fantasy or something. I just think he looks like some sort of character from a game like that. But overall, looks awesome for Dracula. And of course, we've had other vampires. I don't have every single vampire we've gotten so far from the comics, but here is, of course, Morbius. So always nice to have Morbius thrown in. And of course, the famous vampire hunter of Blade. So there we got Blade that can face off against Dracula as well. So overall, a pretty cool figure. Really like this design for Dracula. Like I said, there's been many different forms and versions of Dracula over the years, so I think this one looks pretty cool. It stands out and is quite unique. Again, I just wish that other head with the open mouth that I like more would look better with the eyes, because they did the eyes really weird. And then we have Daimon Hellstrom, the son of Satan and Victoria Hellstrom, that was born with a pentagon-shaped birthmark on his chest. When Satan revealed himself to Victoria, she went crazy and was institutionalized, and Daimon was sent to an orphanage. But once he was old enough, his father telepathically called him to hell to serve him, but Daimon ended up dedicating himself to fight against his father's evil, and he was able to steal his father's trident and discover the dark soul powers he inherited. Now back on Earth, he had a civilian identity of an occult expert, but battled his father's manifestations of evil as the superhero known as Daimon Hellstrom. Now with those powers he got from his father, he has superhuman strength and durability, as well as telepathy, telekinesis, teleportation, flight, pyrokinesis, healing, and shape-shifting. So he looks cool here. Of course, he just looks like, a more basic guy, but as mentioned, has the upside down pentagram birthmark there on his chest, which looks pretty nice. But it's kind of weird how it has like these little designs, almost like it's burning off of him or something. But we get his hair that's sort of all slicked back there, so the red hair. He even has the pointy ears like Satan would have, and then we get the darkness around his eyes, so he's got evil looking eyes there. So I'm pretty sure he's a good guy, but he just in this form he does look pretty mean and evil. Of course, all shirtless, so no shirts on there, but he does have some bracers around his wrist and a belt around his waist in gold, so those sort of match there. Then he's got some, looks like brown, could be really dark maroon or sort of color pants on that go down almost like capris, so they're cut off at the shins, and then he's barefoot from there down as well. So just some pants on is all he's wearing in this, well, along with a belt and gauntlet, so not a whole lot of clothes going on, but he still looks pretty cool. And as I said, this was originally supposed to be part of the Engines of Vengeance HasLab that didn't end up funding, so it's nice that we are actually able to get this figure. Now for movements, get the head that'll twist all the way around. You can look down that far and up that far, so good range there, especially with that hinge joint. Shoulders up to 90 with the butterfly back and forth, and rotate all the way around. Get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint. Again, pinless joint, so not the smoothest, but can move up that far. We get the wrist that'll twist all the way around and has the hinge back and forth. Then we get the ab crunch, so you can see that cut out there. Crunch forward, crunch back, so nice crunching. Twist all the way around at the waist, so just below the belt. Then we get the hips that come up to 90 and out to the side. Thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back. Not far if you kind of force it to get closer to kicking his butt. Shin twist at the bottom of the pants leg. And then the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty good movements, of course, without all the clothes and stuff. It's easy to get a lot of range, but just good movements overall. Now, accessories, the only thing he comes with is a set of fist hands, so we get fists to go along with his grip hands, which I think I'll give him one of the fists. And then he also comes with his father's trident that he stole, so we get this nice gold trident, which is cool, so we'll put this in his other hand. So there's Daimon with that trident, so that looks really cool. And of course we can bring in his sister Satana as well. So there we can have the brother and sister there together. So very nice to have him. Of course need an updated version of her, but still cool to have both of those. And like I said, really cool to get this Daimon. Like I said, it's nice that it was supposed to be in a HasLab that failed, but they gave it to us anyways. So really cool to add him into the collection. And next up we have Brother Voodoo, who is Jericho Drum. Now he was born and raised in Haiti with his twin brother Daniel, but when his brother died it was believed to have been caused by a dark priest, so Jericho sent out to avenge his brother by going to the jungle for Papa Jumbo, who guided him to become proficient in voodoo. Jumbo also summoned Daniel's spirit back from the dead and merged it with Jericho to become Brother Voodoo, the Voodoo Master, and he eventually became the Sorcerer Supreme for Earth after Doctor Strange, when the Eye of Agamotto chose him because he has a pure heart and a clean soul. Now, of course, Brother Voodoo is the master of voodoo magic with powers of necromancy, fire, and soul manipulation, as well as pretty much all the powers of Doctor Strange since he is the Sorcerer Supreme. And he looks really cool here, and this is specifically the Sorcerer Supreme version, so he has the Cloak of Levitation with the Eye of Agamotto there on his chest. And I don't know if it's specifically, but it kind of seems with the figures we've got before, when he becomes Sorcerer Supreme, he gets the paint on his face as well, so he gets more of this white like skull paint. He of course has the Voodoo logo on his head. He has that from the original one as well. But I love his hair and like the dreads on the back with the white in the top center there. Looks good. All black spandex sort of outfit. Love how it's got like the skeleton white design sort of design painted on him as well. Looks pretty cool. So going down his body, he's got some gold bracers there on his wrist, a nice green sash sort of wrapped there around his waist, as well as this piece with some skulls hanging off to the side. Again, that's pretty nice with some beads and stuff there. Add some details all the way down to the black boots on his feet. And as I mentioned, he does have the Cloak of Levitation, so he has the red cloak on there as well, which looks nice. Now for movements, his head will twist all the way around, and it can look down that far and then up that far again with nice hinge joint in there. We get these shoulders that come up, of course hard with the cape, but can come up to 90 there, and will rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up at least that far. Then we get the wrist that'll twist all the way around and hinge up and down with this hand. Then we get his ab crunch that can crunch back and forth. Of course, the cape's going to be in the way, but crunch back and forth. And then he'll twist around at the waist as well, of course, just under the green wrapping. Then we get the hips that can come up to 90 and out to the side that far. Thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back at least, so not the best for that, but it's kind of got the bagginess designed around there. Shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty decent movements overall. Of course, the cape kind of gets in the way, but that's kind of usual for capes, so no surprise this isn't any different. But accessory-wise, we do get some extra hands, so we get this more like claw hand, grip hand, wide grip, but claw-like hand there, as well as a fist hand for the opposite side, so we get those. We get some magic effects that we can put onto his hands, so we can wrap these on his arms. So I got the purple magic effects wrapped around his wrist, and then he also comes with his staff as usual of the Staff of Legba, which was a two-headed mystical weapon given to the most powerful voodoo sorcerer. So we have that here. You can see the two-headed design, so they like almost look like goblin heads or whatever there, but the nice staff design with purple. So we've had this multiple times before. Just nice to have it in purple as it is here, which looks cool. And we can put this into his hand. So there's Brother Voodoo with the Staff of Legba, so that is really nice. And of course, we've had past figures of this, so here's just the normal Brother Voodoo, so before he became Sorcerer Supreme. So this is what you can see, what he sort of looks like there. So a lot of similarities, just doesn't have the Sorcerer Supreme stuff. And then we've also had the Sorcerer Supreme version of him, so again, with the Eye of Agamotto and all that. So I like how each of his Staffs of Legba have been different colors, so we get purple now, but we've also had blue and green, so just really cool overall for that. And again, nice to get this upgraded version with the better joints and the newer weapon, like better hands that can hold the staff. Those past figures were hard to get the staff into his hand because he's got weird hand designs, but just overall looks really cool, and I really like this design for Brother Voodoo. And then we have our last main figure of the wave, the Weapon of Vengeance, also known as Helverine. So Mephisto created the demon Bagragul with the sole purpose of making art out of punishment and death by killing and erecting monuments to honor him. This demon was then grafted into a child named Bram Straub that killed his parents and erected a monument to Mephisto. Bram and then Father Pike began to hunt down mutants during the Fall of X, and this caught the attention of Wolverine and Ghost Rider, causing the two of them to team up. When they found the Weapon Plus program and were captured, Father Pike then performed a satanic cult that transferred Bagragul into Wolverine, becoming Helverine. He then took the Hell Cycle and went on a killing spree. They eventually tried to transfer Bagragul back to Bram, but Father Pike was killed in the process. Bram himself was able to get Bagragul back into himself, but at that moment, Ghost Rider hit him with the penance stare and killed him. So in the form of Helverine here, he has supreme strength, speed, durability, and reflexes, as well as healing factor and hellfire manipulation. So pretty much the same powers as Wolverine, just with the hellfire abilities. But overall, this design looks really cool, awesome with Wolverine and his brown and yellow design, so nice classic design for that. But then we get the Helverine head, so just like Ghost Rider, when Ghost Rider becomes Ghost Rider, his face turns into a skull and has the flames coming off of it, so it's the same with this, but since it's Wolverine, he has this adamantium skull, which looks cool. And then I love how we still get the flames coming out, and it forms like, you know, Wolverine's like mask design or whatever with the wings coming off to the side, so still looks really cool for that overall. And then the body, the rest of the body's, you know, just pretty much basic Wolverine. This is more of like, I think it's the House of X Wolverine, but of course, you know, body wise could just be any of the brown and yellow Wolverines, nothing real specific, just more of this belt matches with that, but looks pretty cool overall for that. And of course, when we get his accessories as well, it will look even cooler. But for movements, we get that'll twist all the way around, can look down that far and up that far, so pretty decent movements there. Shoulders come up to 90 with the butterfly back and forth and can rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends up that far. We get the wrist that'll twist all the way around and hinge back and forth. Then we get the ab crunch in the middle, so crunch forward, crunch back, so nice crunching. Twist all the way around at the waist, so just below the belt. The hips will come up to 90 and out to the side. thigh twist all the way around. Get the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, not too bad at all. Of course, a shin twist down in the boot there, that'll twist around. And then we get the foot that'll flex back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty decent movements overall. Of course, it's still got all the pin joints and everything, so not a new Wolverine or anything, but still looks cool overall. Now, as I mentioned, accessory-wise to go along with him, we get his claws, but they have flames as well. Again, because like all the skeleton is flaming, so we've got the claws with the flames on them as well, so let's definitely switch these out. So there we've got Wolverine with those flame claws as well, and that looks really cool. So definitely how you'd want to display that there, because that looks awesome. Now, like I said, the most similar thing I can find with this, like especially because of that belt, is the House of X Wolverine, which is this one here. Now, I did also see in the pictures that the Wolverine, like when he became Wolverine, was wearing an outfit more similar to this, like it had this style of boots and everything, so we could easily just take the head and those claws and put it on this body and make it this one, and I think it'd make it look a little more accurate. Of course, you couldn't really switch the stuff because the yellows and everything don't match, so we couldn't just switch stuff over to this new one. But like I said, in the pictures I saw, he is wearing more of this outfit, so it's probably more of this one, but they just gave him this body to be a little bit different, but it still looks really cool. And overall, this Wolverine just looks awesome. Love the flame effects on Wolverine. And that brings us to our Build-A-Figure of the Wave of Blackheart, who is a son created by Mephisto from evil energy that accumulated in Christ Crown, New York from the centuries of murder that had happened there. Now, Blackheart learns to be evil under his father's tutelage, but after interactions with humans, he concludes that evil won't win against good, so Mephisto banished him to Earth, where he tries to form a team with Ghost Rider, Punisher, and Wolverine to attack Mephisto, but they refuse, and eventually Mephisto returns to offer help to his son, but Blackheart stabs Mephisto with a dagger, destroying him and takes over Mephisto's portion of hell. Of course, Mephisto ends up coming back because no one stays gone forever, but Blackheart has superhuman strength, speed, and durability, as well as energy projection, telepathy, teleportation, size and shape alteration, mind control, and is immortal. And he looks cool here, pretty much just his figure. Of course, not a nice design with the big and spiky. He's a real tall character as well, so you'll see that when we bring in other characters, but he's just pretty much all this black design. It's like a lightish black, so you can see it looks kind of like a grayish sort of color, like really dark gray or something. So it's not solid black, but of course is real nice and shiny, so the light's reflecting off him. But looks cool with his face, so I love how he's got like the red eyes in there, so it looks pretty creepy. A little bit of spikes there up around his head as well, and coming off to the side, and then going into this that looks like hair. Love how it's got like the purple shading on that as well, going all the way back, so it's got like the dreaded sort of design. Then we get his body, like I said, looks pretty nice, but it's got these spikes all over it, get claws there on his hands, so only has 4 fingers, and the spikes continue down to his legs where he's got 3 toes and he's up on his ankles or whatever you call that, like that. So it's kind of cool, and then has the long tail coming out of the back as well with the spikes all over it. So he just looks really cool, a big menacing figure here to add to the collection. Now for movements, we can get the head that'll twist around. Of course, it's hard to really get him all the way around. You can probably get it to twist, but we'll at least go side to side there, and it can look down that far and then up just that far because of his hair in the back. So movements back and forth there. We have his shoulders that'll come up to 90 with the butterfly joint back and forth. And of course, he's all spiky, so it's hard to do this movements without poking yourself. And we'll twist all the way around. Then we get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that'll bend up that far, so not bad at all. We get the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. And then we can go down to the ab crunch. So he has the upper ab crunch, so he'll crunch back and forth and twist all the way around. And then he has the lower ab crunch as well, so he'll crunch even further forward. So nice crunching back and forth for him. Then we get the hips that'll come up to 90 and out to the side. Get the thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, kicking himself in the butt, then down to the ankles. They'll rock back and forth and twist side to side, so you can get that adjusted. And then of course we go back to the tail that's connected in here. It doesn't really do any movements because it feels like, yeah, it's pretty much connected into his body, but it does have a wire in it, so you can sort of get it to bend, and you'll probably need to use that to help keep him standing, especially with his feet up like this. So you'll need to definitely get it adjusted and use that tail to keep him standing. Just overall a really cool figure. Love this design. Awesome to get it as a build figure. Again, it was also supposed to be part of the Engines of Vengeance, so again, nice that we get it here in an actual figure form since that has left failed. But overall, really cool looking figure. It does come with some accessories, so we get some additional hands. So we have this hand with the little finger poking out and a fist hand as well, so we can switch that. I kind of like the finger, just add some variation with the hands. And of course, he was introduced in Ghost Rider and, deals with Mephisto, so a lot of dark stuff going on with his storyline. So here is just Ghost Rider go along with him. So Ghost Rider itself, especially this form, is a pretty tall figure, so you can see just how big Blackheart is compared to that, and you'll see him compared with the rest of the figures here in a second. So cool just to add Blackheart into the collection. This is a nice, cool figure. Of course, we're still waiting on Mephisto. He was the last figure aside from Robbie Reyes with that Engines of Vengeance, so hopefully we'll end up getting a Mephisto soon now that we have a lot of like family members and everything for him. So hopefully we'll get that soon, but just a nice looking Blackheart added to the collection. Well, that is it for our Marvel Legends Strange Tale wave featuring the Build-A-Figure of Blackheart. So very cool wave overall. Nice to get all these figures from Strange Tales, which if I did mention Strange Tales, has to do with like magic and the occult and everything. So a lot of darker figures going on here. It makes sense why they threw them all together in a wave. Of course, none are really all connected except for like Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange. Those kind of carry out through each of these figures, but really nice wave overall. Of course, where we got Moon Knight, Bloodstorm, Daimon, Hellstrom, Wolverine, Dracula, Lilith, and Brother Voodoo. All are really cool figures, especially updates of like Brother Voodoo and Moon Knight. Those two versions are really cool. Every other figure is brand new. Of course, we've had Storm before, but the Bloodstorm version, Wolverine, we've had Wolverines before, but having this specific form. Then Hellstrom, Dracula, and Lilith are all new characters, and Blackheart as well. The Build-A-Figure is really awesome. So just a really cool wave of figures. Of course, no like main figures except for Wolverine that really stands out like main character wise, but a really good selection of various characters to add to the collection. So let me know what you thought of this wave down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.